Starting from 1937, when he joined the war in Shanxi, my father wrote numerous anti-Japanese salvation songs for the conscience of an artist, driven by a sense of social responsibility. After arriving in Lanzhou and Qinghai, he became more of an anti-Japanese fighter, except that while others used the barrel of a gun, he used sheet music. Especially after arriving in Qinghai, he partially functionalized the music, which was exactly what the situation required at that time, and it was not rare at that time to see anti-Japanese propaganda to such an extent as he did. What motivated him was patriotic fervor. According to records, because of the good propaganda for the war, the youth of Qinghai were very enthusiastic to participate in the war. The cavalry division of the Ma family army to form a Qinghai anti-Japanese expeditionary force to the Central Plains to participate in the war, my father also wrote a war horse song for them. This unit in the Battle of Huaiyang fought out of the wind, so that the Japanese people are scared. The Japanese mentioned the horse-bearded army will be scared to death. Of course, these anti-Japanese songs disappeared with the end of the particular era, but the positive impact it had at the time is indelible. At a time when the public was generally very poorly educated, my father used these simple, yet easy to learn and listen to songs to promote anti-Japanese and civilization, which did serve to educate the public. In 1938, when the Northwest War Resistance Troop was in Jiuquan, Gansu, to propagate the anti-Japanese cause, my father collected a dance tune called Vianal from minority artists in Xinjiang, and felt that the dance tune was like a European tune and liked it very much. After the troop returned to Xining, he filled in 4 stanzas of lyrics for this dance song and named it Youth Dance Song. The mood of this song is quite different from the style of my father's other works. The songs written by my father have a characteristic of having a cheerful tune and lyrics that are funny, humorous, and positive. A somewhat gray and disappointing mood like this song is relatively rare in his works, perhaps related to his marital status and mood at that time. Luo Shan is leaving after less than a year in Qinghai. She doesn't want to stay in Xining and wants to go back to Lanzhou. There are no electric lights or recreational activities here, and compared to Lanzhou, Xining is much more isolated. For the lively and outgoing Luo Shan, it was like a desert. In addition, her body has been feeling sick with plateau reaction. My father was always on the go, either collecting folk songs or taking the anti-war troop to various places in Qinghai to promote their performances, so he seldom stayed at home, and Luo Shan had few friends here. She insisted on taking time off to go to Lanzhou to see a doctor, and my father, not realizing that she had plans not to return, accompanied her to Lanzhou. Father came back from Lanzhou alone. He was not in a good mood. Zhou Yikui from the theater troupe went to his house to play. He saw that the house was messy and the pots and pans were cold, so he asked about how come Luo Shan did not come back. Father exasperatedly said, "Don't you ever talk about her again. She's her, I'm me." For the father, this means that their romantic love has hit a bump in the road, that it means a change, and perhaps the father has a premonition of a rift in their love life. The song Dance of Youth is a reminder of his unsatisfactory love life and a true reflection of the loss he feels inside. After Luo Shan returned to Lanzhou for a while, there were rumors outside. Father at first did not believe it. After all, they are so romantic love at first sight, and together through these years of hardship, in the artistic cultivation and interest in the closer, he still have confidence in themselves. If Luo Shan wanted to love someone else, she wouldn't have chosen him, who had almost nothing but talent in the first place. He kindly thought, like Luo Shan, such a passionate and beautiful, not willing to be lonely woman, single living in Lanzhou, a bit of rumors is also understandable. By 1941, the rumors got even worse when an acquaintance in Lanzhou brought my father a letter saying that his backyard was on fire and that he should go back to Lanzhou to check it out anyway. He even told him the name of Luo Shan's current boyfriend, who was said to be tall and handsome, much more so than my father, and an actor in the former Blood and Flowers theater company. At this point, the father seemed a little convinced. He took a leave of absence to go to Lanzhou, and when he left, he bought a Tibetan knife and brought it with him, saying half seriously, "I'm going back this time, and I have to fight him with a knife." In March 1941, my father returned home to Lanzhou. Luo Shan looked at him coldly with big, slightly squinting eyes and said faintly, "You're back." It was a greeting of sorts. After a while, she got up and poured him a bowl of plain water and put it in front of him, not asking if he had eaten, and sat there with no more words to say. Luo Shan saw my father packing up the things he had brought with him and suddenly asked coldly, "Where are you staying at night?" Father froze for a moment. He hadn't expected her to say something like that, which meant that there was nothing left to salvage. Although Father had prepared for the worst, he still hadn't expected things to develop so quickly. After all, he and Luo Shan had once been passionately in love, and there was no fundamental disagreement between them, just a little friction. It was normal for young couples to have a little friction. It seems that Luo Shan has already made a decision. She has thought it all through. She had already made a choice between her lover Xu Zelin and her husband Wang Luobin. Father's thoughts of theorizing disappeared in an instant. He knew that it was all over. They hadn't gotten through their bonding period, and in terms of personality, they were very different, and in terms of attitudes toward life, they were even more different. After all, they came from Beijing, where the new culture movement was being carried out with great vigor, and the breakup was not a big deal. Xiao Jun and Xiao Hong, a couple with the same interests, did not also break up. Luo Shan was right when she said, "I have the freedom to love. The old love is over. I love something else." My father left the home that was once his own that night and went to stay with an acquaintance from the 8th War Area Drama Team. Because neither property disputes nor children, their breakup is very easy, to the newspaper to send a message even if the end. He personally went to the newspaper to send a divorce notice with Luo Shan, from King Hai back to say with Xu Zelin knife words is also still want to live with Luo Shan, meaning now this is not necessary. Seeing that the newspaper had published an announcement of his divorce from Luo Shan and that there was nothing more to do in Lanzhou, my father sent a few of his songs, including the just revised In That Faraway Place, together to Zhao Qihai and a few other friends, and with indescribable pain, boarded a yellow baggage car to go to the Lanzhou bus station, ready to return to King Hai. Just as he got to the Yellow River, two men came running after the yellow cart, one of whom put the barrel of his gun against the one pulling the cart and said, "Go to Xian House Street." Sichuan Hall on Xian House Street is the location of the Secret Service organization of the 8th War Zone of the Kuomintang in Lanzhou. My father's heart shook, and he knew that things were bad. Seker, Xiao Jun, and Zhu Xingyan, who came with him, were all communists. This time back to Lanzhou, he heard that Luo Shan's lover, Xu Zelin, was a Kuomintang military intelligence agent. I do not know if this has anything to do with him. The head of the Lanzhou Junta Secret Service, Sun Buqi, personally interrogated him and even asked him about his breakup with his wife, Luo Shan. He was asked about his relationship with the Communist Party. Father said he came to the Northwest to propagandize against the Japanese and did nothing else. Yes, he had come to Lanzhou with the Communists, Seker and Xiao Jun, but it was also true that he had not joined the Communist Party, so he was very frank. When they arrived in Lanzhou as a group of progressive culturists, they used to be welcomed by the Lanzhou authorities, and the newspapers published the news of their arrival. But now openly he was arrested and put in jail, he really couldn't figure it out. In that case, he's been set up. Who could it be? He doesn't have any enemies, except for Luo Shan's lover, the actor from the Blood and Flowers troupe, who's a junta agent.